Everything you thought you knew might be a lie. For years, we sat in classrooms memorizing facts, trusting our textbooks, believing every word that was drilled into our heads. But what if I told you that some of the things you were taught were completely wrong? Some weren't just simple mistakes. They were carefully crafted myths, passed down through generations, shaping the way we see the world. And today, we're tearing them apart. The myth of Columbus discovering America. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and supposedly he discovered America. That's what we were told. But let's break this down. How do you discover a place that was already inhabited by millions of people? That's like walking into someone's house, sitting on their couch and claiming it's yours. And let's not forget, Columbus never even set foot in what we now call the United States. He landed in the Bahamas, explored parts of the Caribbean, and thought he was in Asia. The real first non-indigenous people to reach North America? The Vikings, hundreds of years earlier, and yet for centuries we've celebrated Columbus as a hero. The truth, his arrival kicked off a dark period of colonization, enslavement, and violence against indigenous people. So why do we keep learning this myth in school? Because history is often written by those in power. The Great Wall of China. No, you can't see it from space. One of the most repeated facts in school was that the Great Wall of China is the only man-made structure visible from space. Sounds cool, right? But here's the truth. It's completely false. Astronauts who've actually been to space have said time and time again that the Great Wall is barely visible, if at all, because it blends in with the natural landscape. Meanwhile, major highways, airports, and even some city grids, those are actually visible. Diamonds aren't rare. You've been scammed. Diamonds are rare. That's what we were told. That's why they're so valuable, right? Wrong. Diamonds are not rare at all. They're actually one of the most common gemstones on Earth. So why are they so expensive? Because a handful of powerful companies, led by De Beers, control the supply. They stockpile diamonds, release them in small amounts, and drive up prices. Oh, and the whole diamonds are the only way to show true love thing? Yeah, that was a marketing campaign from the 1940s. And it worked. So next time someone tells you that diamonds are priceless, just remember it's a manufactured illusion. Your tongue doesn't have taste zones. Remember that diagram in your school textbook? The one that showed how different parts of your tongue taste different things. Sweet at the tip, bitter in the back, salty and sour on the sides. Well, it's a complete myth. Your entire tongue can taste all flavors. There are no strict zones. Scientists debunked this idea ages ago, but for some reason schools kept teaching it. This mistake goes back to a misinterpretation of research from the early 1900s, and somehow it spread like wildfire. So next time you eat something sweet, sour, salty, or bitter, just know your whole tongue is working on it, not just certain areas. The myth of using only 10% of your brain, this one is everywhere. It's been in movies, in books, even in motivational speeches. The idea that we only use 10% of our brain power, and if we could just unlock the other 90%, we'd be geniuses. Here's the truth. You use 100% of your brain. All the time. Modern brain scans show that different parts of your brain are constantly firing, even when you're sleeping. The 10% myth? It likely came from a misunderstanding of old neuroscience studies. But in reality, every part of your brain has a purpose, and you're using way more than just a tiny fraction. Einstein never failed math. You've probably heard the story. Albert Einstein, the genius physicist, once failed a math class. If even he struggled with math, there's hope for the rest of us, right? Yeah, except it never happened. Einstein himself shut this rumor down, saying, "Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus." In reality, he was exceptional at math, even as a child. The whole Einstein failed math thing, just another myth meant to inspire struggling students. Pyramids, slaves didn't build them. For years, we were taught that the pyramids of Egypt were built by thousands of enslaved people under cruel conditions. But archaeological discoveries tell a different story. Workers' tombs, ancient payroll records, and tools found at the site show that the builders were skilled laborers who were paid for their work. They had access to medical care, ate high-quality food, and took pride in their job. These weren't beaten down slaves, they were respected craftsmen. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb. Sure, he made it better. He made it last longer. But the first light bulb? That was created decades before Edison by inventors like Humphrey Davy and Warren de la Rue. Edison's real genius? Marketing. He figured out how to make the bulb practical and sellable to the masses. Rapid-fire lies you were taught. And now let's rapid-fire some more school lies that might just blow your mind. Chameleons don't change color to blend in. That's right, they change color based on mood, temperature, and communication, not just camouflage. Napoleon wasn't short. He was actually around 5'7", which was average for his time. The short myth came from British propaganda. Vikings didn't wear horned helmets. Those were made up by opera costumes in the 1800s. No Viking ever went into battle looking like a cartoon villain. You don't swallow 8 spiders a year while you sleep. This one is pure nonsense. Spiders aren't interested in crawling into a warm, vibrating, breathing human mouth. Bats aren't blind. They actually have decent eyesight. They just use echolocation to navigate in the dark. The moon has no dark side. Every part of the moon gets sunlight at different times. The side we don't see from Earth? It's just called the far side, not a mysterious dark abyss. So what does all of this mean? It means question everything. Just because something is written in a textbook doesn't mean it's true. History is messy, science evolves, and sometimes the stories we've been told aren't just wrong. They were designed to mislead us. So what other facts do you think might be lies? Because once you start questioning things, you'll realize just how much of our knowledge is built on shaky ground. The biggest lie of all, believing everything you hear without digging deeper.